So I wanted to make a quick video to see if we can make a small improvement on the materials for these falling platforms we have here. So right now, when the player activates or overlaps with these platforms, let's just go ahead and begin play and kind of show what's happening. But when the player overlaps, we see the color change quickly. You see that? And then as it comes back up, it changes colors again. So pretty nice. You see that it's actually swapping between several different materials. What I think I want to do is use a dynamic material instance and try to get a smooth transition between those different colors. Let me do that one more time to show that. Yeah. So real quick, let's select the falling platform here and let's just hit Control B, and that'll navigate to where that asset or actor is in the content browser. Double click our falling platform, and then let's just real quick go through what's going on in here, and then we can jump in and see if we can get it to work the way I want it to work. So when the player overlaps right here, we have our event begin overlap for the component. Player will overlap and that'll trigger this activate event. So that's what sets the initial material change. I think it's that purple color, right? Right. And then from there, we have a short delay before the platform actually falls down right here. And then that then calls the drop event. And then we'll set the material again, right, to that red color. That means it's collapsed. And then we have another delay. And then from there, we call the reset. And that's when everything comes back up and it gets set back to the initial color, right? So this works really well. I want to show, so if you look at the materials here, we actually have a couple of different materials. We're just going to click the hourglass or the glass there, magnifying glass, and come to where our materials are. So we can see that each of these is actually a different material instance, right? So I think what we actually want to do, or what I want to try to do, is instead of swapping or assigning the material to our component between these, I think I want to create a dynamic material instance, and then we're going to use the timeline here to actually go in and try to smoothly transition between those colors. But we'll just use that one material instance instead of swapping between the several. So let's go ahead. So I already have the timeline copied here. We'll just use that just because we already have a nice smooth curve in here already between 0 and 1, and that'll be perfect for our transition. So we'll leave that there for a sec. First things first, so off of event and begin play, I think what I'll do is drag off of here, and then we'll do create dynamic material instance is what we want. And we'll do that for our cube. And then we'll do our let's do it, material instance. We want the, let's see, which one was that? Platform ready, I think is what it was. Yeah, our green color, that's our default color. So we'll do that one. And then from there, let's just promote that to a variable so we can access that in a moment here. Let's just call it color. I'm sure we can come up with a more descriptive name, but that'll work for now. So we have this dynamic material here now. So this is what we're going to use, I think, to actually modify the color. So we're going to come down here to our timeline. I think what I'll do, okay, let's create a custom event. Let's do add a custom event. Let's call it transition color. Okay, and then we'll just play from start is what we're gonna do. So we'll connect that there, and then I think what we want to do is we actually want to get our color. Do get color. And then, so using this material instance, because this is a dynamic material instance, we can access the parameters for that material instance. So real quick, if we go back to our platform ready material, we have all of these parameters that we can access. So that's what we're going to do. Let's go back to our blueprint here, and then we want to do get vector parameter value. And then we're going to update that value. So we'll connect that there. And then the name of our, that's not what I want to do. There we go. The name of our parameter is base color, right? We're just going to change the base color for this for the time being. Okay. So that gives us the current value, right, for this material. From there, let's set the vector parameter value here. So we're going to set a new value for this. Oh, what's going on here? Let's do compile. Oh, right, I need to connect this to our color, of course. We'll do this here. Set vector parameter value. There we go. All right. Now we can do base color. And then what we need to do, so right now we have our current color. We need the color we want to transition to. And then we're going to use this. What we're going to do is we're going to use a lerp node to smoothly transition between the colors. And so this will be our alpha for that lerp. We need a second color, right, to transition to from the current color. So I think what we'll do, let's add an input value for this event. And we want to do, what is this? Color structure, I think. Let's do, I can't spell. Is it color? That doesn't seem right. Let's see if that gives us what we want. Or I can just look at what this is. Yeah, color structure. So that seems right. Okay. So let's drag off our current color. Let's lerp. Yep, lerp linear color. That seems right. And then let's connect our alpha. And let's connect our new color. Okay. Oh, see, look, that's not right. We have a conversion here. We have our color structure. Linear color structure. Okay, so let me change that to the correct type. Or make sure we have the correct type. It seems, oh, maybe what we want is a linear color for that. Hit compile. Is that what we want? There we go. That's what we want here. Let's just make that look a little bit prettier. Put that there. Okay. All right. So this will be our new value. We're going to start with our current parameter value. We'll interpolate to the second value based off of this alpha. And then this will be our new value. We'll plug that in and set the new value. So this should ideally, let me add a comment here, create a smooth transition. Let's see, the base color of a dynamic material. Okay. So ideally, what we can do is we can use this transition color and swap that out for each of these set material calls. So let's start up here. Let's start with this one. Let's do transition color. And we're gonna need the colors, the current colors. So let's go ahead and, ideally we would put these into variables, but I'm gonna keep it simple, and let's bring up our color real quick. Let's just pull the value. And we'll just plug that in here. Okay, so that'll be our first color we're going to transition to. We won't need this anymore, but I'm not going to delete it. I'll just leave it there, and then I'll attach this here. That way we can kind of remember what we had before. So all we're doing is replacing this set material call, but we should see a smooth transition between the current color and then this new color. Okay, so let's just take that guy and paste it here. And we'll do the same thing like so. And we want then the red color. Okay, we'll drop that in here. Okay. And then we have two more, I believe. Let's just quickly drag these here. Yeah, so this will be our last unique color, and then we'll transition back to the original color. So we'll copy that. Okay. And let's just go ahead and come back up and copy the, oh, actually, I guess I didn't put one with the base color yet, so we will have to get that color as well. But let's just drop this one here. Sorry, not here, but over here. And then we got transition color there. So this will be the last one. We'll attach this here, and this will set it back to the original color, our green color. Okay. All right, so that should hopefully accomplish what we're trying to do here. Let's compile and save. And then let's just go back to our level here. Let's see what happens. Begin play. And let's step on here. And there you go, look at that. So now we see a smooth transition for those colors. Let's see what it looks like. We hit all of these. Yeah, it's kind of nice, right? So awesome. And there's other ways we could execute the same concept, but this is what popped into my head. So yeah, thanks for watching.